This is a long recap video.
We did a lot of stuff this year.
We did a lot of stuff. This is going to be like a 30-minute video. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff.
You did a lot of stuff.
Did a lot of stuff.
I just tagged along.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Made really good content. You're welcome.
You're welcome. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. We're doing yet again another yearly recap video to recap the year that has just passed, 2020. A year that's going down in the history books. Everyone's going to remember this year. And for me, it's actually remembering it for a lot of good reasons. This is more for like myself and for you, if you like doing this too, rather than just like sharing this stuff with you guys, because everything that we're going to talk about I've already shared. I basically just kind of like scroll through all of the videos that I've made this entire year and just kind of reflect on everything. I don't even remember what my goals were. I think it was to just travel in the van. Yeah. So my goals for last year, the one that I remember was to take the van to as many states as possible and to collaborate with people along the way, which I of course have done. So I'm just going to jump right into the channel and take a look at my year in a recap. So we started New Year's last year in Nashville, Gatlinburg actually. We were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and then things started falling apart immediately. I did go to SHOT Show. Luckily, SHOT Show still happened last year. I did an EDC update, a winter EDC update, and that was the only one that I've done this entire year. The reason for that is because my EDC really hasn't changed much. Same phone, same keys, wallet is pretty much always the same TS43X, which we'll get to in a second. We did some mail time updates, some more reviews, and my channel was demonetized at the start of last year from October into, what was it, like March?
Too long.
Too long. The channel took a huge hit because of everything that had happened, and about 10 months ago now, I have a video back in business. So I was able to get the channel remonetized, started the second channel, Sunday Gun Day, which has now grown to over 130,000 plus subscribers. So thank you all for that. And things are on the up from there on out. Until COVID, of course. We did a whole series in Tahoe. We got 5 videos in a row of me and my friend Dave and the Revel 8 crew out in Lake Tahoe ski boarding every day, so that was always fun. And that's when I announced the 48 state road trip. I kind of laid out plans and made a map around the country, and I've of course done that. And that's what the rest of the videos are for pretty much the remainder of the year. I got the van ready, the road trip started, I went up to Vermont, and then I went to New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Acadia National Park. I went to a lot of national parks this year.
Sure.
I had the van for 1 year, so I did a 1 year update, and that was about the time that COVID got really bad. So I did 9 states in the northeast of the United States, and I went back to Pennsylvania for a little while because grocery stores were closing down, gas stations, like everything was just falling apart. I ended up just going back home and hanging out for a little while. Doing that, we did mail time videos and a few van videos here and there, and when everything was locked down, we did Lockdown Knife Week. We did 2 full weeks. It was 2 weeks of Lockdown Knife Week, and I reviewed a lot of the knives that are in my collection now, and I still need to bring you guys a new update on that because that is forever growing. And then 8 months ago, when I was still around home, I made a video called I Don't Enjoy This Anymore, and a lot of people clicked on that because they wanted to know what I was talking about. I was basically talking about how I was using review videos as a crutch to just have content to put out there, and I just wasn't fully into it. I wanted to travel more and get back to the videos that I've always been making. So that kind of set in motion everything that came after that. So I started vlogging a little bit more. You and I went camping.
We did.
We tested out the solo stove up on my mountain land that was still in Pennsylvania around the summertime, Memorial Day. Where'd we go?
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks. We did go to Outer Banks, and that was pretty fun. And I bought a new motorcycle. I did a few videos on the new 2020 Cowie ZX-10R that I bought, and of course now that I'm traveling full time I haven't really gotten the chance to ride it much, but I think I've got I don't know, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 miles on that thing, and I'll definitely be bringing you guys more content on that in the future. So that's about halfway for the year. What did you do with the first half of your year?
Let's look. Nothing.
That's it. Nothing. You worked. A lot of people ask, where's Ashley and why is she not with you full-time in the van? It's because she works. She's a nurse currently at Vanderbilt down in Nashville, Tennessee, and she comes out and visits whenever she can. So that's why she's not here all the time. I don't know. People like you, I guess.
Glad someone does.
Well, on that note, going into the rest of the year, we did some more motorcycle stuff, some more knife stuff, and then the road trip finally started around the end of June. Went down first to visit my friend Dave, and we did the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Bad. Don't recommend it. Shouldn't have started the trip that way. Ashley had to drive from like the Philadelphia area down to Ocean City, Maryland, which was our second stop after that. And I got sick like immediately after we got out of the car. It was not good, so don't recommend that. Had a good time at the beach. We went up to Dewey, and I think I like Dewey a little bit more than Ocean City now. It's because I'm getting old, I guess.
You are old.
You're old. You're way older than me.
Shh.
From Dewey Beach, we went to, let's see if you know, because you were with me for all these videos. Where'd we go after Dewey?
West Virginia?
Yeah, we went pretty far. We went all the way to the Monongahela National Forest. That was my birthday, actually, the end of June, and we were up on top of Bear, I forget what it was, Bear Mountain Pass or something like that.
I don't even know.
Did a little
You've been to so
hiking.
many places.
We've been to a lot of places. I love West Virginia. It's just like super small, but
spread out.
it's like
roads.
tight, but yeah, you gotta go through mountain passes everywhere you go. And then from West Virginia, where we were camping, we went to visit the New River Gorge Bridge, Daniel Boone National Forest.
Yeah.
We went camping.
Yeah,
We made tacos, and that was in Kentucky. From Kentucky, we went to the Nada Tunnel. I think that was in Kentucky as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Louisville.
I got you drunk.
You got me drunk. We did the world's oldest bourbon bar, Talbot Tavern, I
Yeah.
think is what that was called. And then we did a few different distilleries. We went to Lux Row, which makes a bunch of different whiskey, and Willet. And I drank that bottle of Willet. It was delicious.
You're welcome.
Yeah. From there, somewhere in between there, we launched the TS-43X with my friends at Danger Close Armament. That was a huge learning experience for us, and we're working on some new things going forward, but it was a great learning experience. We made 100 signature pistols to my liking, really. I basically like drew it up. I said I want this, that, and whatever, and that is my go-to EDC gun all the time now. I think it's my version of the perfect EDC gun, and a lot of you guys thought so too, because we did 100 exclusive pistol builds and we sold 50 in the first 24 hours.
Crazy.
And then 3 weeks later we eventually sold out. So huge thank you to everyone who supported that little venture that we did, and there's going to be some more stuff like that coming here in the future as well. So speaking of that, we were in Kentucky, went to Nashville, and then we flew to Maryland.
When to do that?
I hand-delivered the first TS-43X to a really good friend of the channel, Wayne at Panda Tactical. He jumped on it to get serial number 1, and we flew all the way out there, surprised him, and that was a good time. It was a really, really cool experience to do that.
It was awesome.
From there, we came back. It was 4th of July. Had a 4th of July party at
Yep.
your apartment in Nashville. And then I left. You stayed in Nashville.
So sad.
So from there, I left and went down into Alabama. I went to a place called Unclaimed Baggage, which was super cool.
We're going
It's-
there before I leave.
You should go there.
Very excited.
It's a place where they take all of the baggage that's left at an airport that is unclaimed, of course, and somehow they sell it. They have everything you could possibly imagine. They even have their own FFL, so you can get guns, golf clubs, skis, hunting apparel, iPhones, iPads, any kind of technology, cameras, like they have everything. I think I bought a shirt or two.
You did the AC/DC shirt.
Yeah, I still wear that. From there, I did a video on this sleeve right here. It was quick though, and I just did a sort of tattoo routine video talking about what I do when I go and get tattooed. lot of people hate tattoo videos. Found that out.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. People are like,
Tattoos.
they're stuck up. Anyway,
I think
probably not going to do any more tattoo videos. So from Alabama, I went down to the panhandle of Florida, and I spent a few days down there because there was a lot of cool stuff to do. I went to Blackwater Joe's in like the swamp. I went to Miramar. I went to Destin. I did a lot of stuff down there. Just kind of drove around, and that's probably like the only beach that I actually like in America. The water is like, looks like you can drink it. It's so clear. From there, I started to head west. I went to Mississippi and visited some friends in the Gulfport, and I don't even know what we did there. We ate a lot of really good food because it's the South, and I'm definitely looking forward to going back there because they have these things called Royal Reds. I think they're called Royal Reds. They're like big shrimp, but they're tender like lobster. Super good. You should try it.
That sounds delicious.
So from Mississippi, I then went over and up to Ruston, Louisiana. I stayed at Lincoln Parish Park, I believe. They have like a lake there. I went and shot some guns with my friends at Shooting Surplus. Then I went north into Arkansas. Went to the hot springs. I went hiking with a fellow subscriber, a patron of mine. I hiked Hemden Hollow, which was hell. My knee was completely blown out because it's not good from skiing. It was super cool to see though, and then we did Whitaker's Point too. Two really good hikes.
How do you remember all of this?
Because I did it.
I definitely don't remember the names of half the
We
stuff
did
we've
Hemden
done.
Hollow, we did Whitaker's Point, and then I went to Oklahoma, stayed at K River Campground for the night, went to Little Niagara Falls, and it was packed with people, and I left Oklahoma really quickly. Went to Texas. So in Texas, my first stop was Dallas-Fort Worth area. I stayed in Tyler, Texas for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. There was like a little tiny mobile home park there. And I visited a lot of patrons. I went to the Pecan Lodge and got some super dank barbecue down in Deep Ellum. Fellow patron subscriber Calvin has a place known as OMG Tacos. He has 2 locations, one in Richardson and another one in the Colony. You guys should totally eat some Asian fusion tacos and tell him I sent you. And then from there, I went down and met up with my friend Collins, aka Coleon Noir. We went to the tire range and we shot some videos together. I think I filmed 1 for my channel and we did like 3 for his channel. So that was a great time. And then from there, Fort Worth, Dallas, I went down to Austin. Went to Austin, Texas, and visited my friends at Beard Brand. Got my hair cut, got my beard trimmed. How's it look?
Good.
It looked good.
Past tense.
I need to touch that up a little bit. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in Austin because a lot of things were closed, so then I went over to San Antonio. I went to some caverns down near San Antonio. I stayed there that night as well. They had like a little campground right above the caverns, which was really neat. And I went to see the Alamo, which was closed. I saw it from like 100 yards away, and I was like, yay, that's the Alamo, cool. And then I continued on. I went to visit my friend Matt, aka Demolition Ranch. I went to see the demo ranch, and we shot a few guns and checked out his build because he's building a whole like barn dominium type of thing over there. So it was cool to hang out with him. And then I headed west into the good part of Texas. Texas is too flat for me. Everyone's like, oh, I should totally move to Texas. I could never live there. I need mountains wherever I'm living. But the further west in Texas you go, you get into hill country, and I went to Marfa, Texas, which is in the middle of nowhere. So from Marfa, Texas, I went out a little bit to check out the Marfa lights. I didn't see anything, and then I went to the Prada store in Marfa, which was super cool. It's like an art installation thing. You can check out all of these things that I'm talking about in the videos on the channel. From there, I tried to go to Big Bend National Park and they were closed because of COVID, which is ridiculous, but I did go down to Big Bend and it was cool. It's like right on the border of Mexico, might as well be Mexico. And then I headed north into New Mexico. In New Mexico, I cracked the windshield of the Sat van. I went to...
And I was not there for that, so I just want to establish
that actually,
it's not always me.
This is true. I went to the White Sands National Monument, which is just like white sand dunes in the middle of nowhere. It was super cool, but it was hot, like 120 26 degrees or something like that. Extremely hot. Windshield cracked. It is what it is. From there, I went back over the mountain ridge to, where did I go? Oh, I went to Carlsbad Cavern
Oh yeah.
National Park, which was really cool. So I went to Carlsbad and tried to see the bats. Bats never flew, but I went in the cave. That was really cool. And then I went north to Roswell, New Mexico. I stayed there for 2 days, I believe, because alien stuff. Got abducted when I was there. I got Hank, who's chilling over there on the dashboard as well of the van. And I did some virtual reality like spacewalk things. I did a bunch of like weird alien stuff when I was in Roswell. It was super cool, but a lot of it was closed as well. From there, I made a beeline north. I went to, I think this was in New Mexico. It was the Bandelier National Monument, where there's like caves that people used to live in, Pueblo ancestors. And then from there, I think I beelined it straight for Colorado, where I actually am right now. So southern Colorado, I was near Alamosa. I went to Mount Blanca, and there's some BLM land there. I stayed there. And then if you head west, it takes you right into the Great Sand Dunes National Park. Hiked like 3 miles barefoot in the sand dunes, which was pretty cool. From there, I came up to Colorado Springs and I visited some friends. I went to Garden of the Gods, which is really cool. We should go there. We could go there, like after, yeah, we could do that. And then from there, I went back down to Alamosa and went camping with my friends Will and Courtney. We ended up going to this like private lake, and it was a whole lot of fun. My camera actually broke, so I needed to get a new microphone and stuff like that.
Again, wasn't there for that.
You weren't there for that. But wait, you were there for some others, which we'll get to in a second. So we had a cool camping trip that weekend, and then we went back up here to where I'm at now, is like the Denver area. And I went to visit my buddy Mike, aka Last Line of Defense. So Mike and I went camping, overlanding, just some really pretty easy stuff because the van was not completely hooked up like it is right now back then. So we went camping and we did a walk around of Mike's rig, which was really cool. If you guys are into tacos, you already know who he is, and you should check out his truck if you don't. From there, I went to Salt Lake City, Utah area, Provo, did a lot of stuff there. I visited Blade HQ, went camping, hiking, visited Blade HQ again. I spent a lot of time at Blade HQ. I think I was there for like 3 days or so. And then, Zach and I did some questionably legal hood rat stuff in Utah. We went and climbed some radio towers. Probably not the most legal thing ever. And then we went and ripped around his ratted out Miata, which was super fun. That's a fun video if you guys are into like shenanigans and stuff like that. I love Utah, by the way, because from there I went to Moab and filmed some of the most fun stuff that I've ever done. We got to go to Moab too.
Because you love Moab.
Yeah, Moab's super cool. So when I went to Moab, I went to Arches National Park. I went to Canyonlands National Park. I think I went to Dead Horse. But the first thing I did when I got there was Canyonlands, and I drove the Schaefer Trail. I ran into a subscriber on the trail and we mobbed this trail, both in like lifted sprinters, and we did about 50 miles. We drove all through Canyonlands along the Colorado River and then made it back into Moab, had some super dank Mexican food, my favorite restaurant in Moab, and I've eaten there like probably 4 or 5 times now. I just keep going back there. And then I tried to go to Arches, but they were at capacity, so I snuck into Arches, so to speak. I have a national park pass, but they wouldn't let you in the main entrance, so I went out through some BLM land across this Dinosaur Ridge area. It's not technically Dinosaur Ridge, that's in Colorado, but there's dinosaur tracks. And it was pretty gnarly on the van. I like dented something up in the back, which I'm actually going to remove from the van. Made it into Arches though, and that was cool as well. I then went to Arizona. The wildfires were really bad. I remember waking up one morning outside of Monument Valley, and it was just like, it looked like Mars. The sun was all red, you couldn't see very far. Still a really beautiful area though. I went down through Mexican Hat and Monument Valley, and then I ended up going into, wait, where was Bend at? Page, Arizona. I must have went to Horseshoe Bend around Page, Arizona, and then to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Ashley and I flew helicopter, well, not flew a helicopter, flew in a helicopter into the south rim of the Grand Canyon. So it was cool to see the north rim. Out of all the canyons, though, that I've seen, the Grand Canyon is obviously huge, but I don't think it's my favorite. I think Canyonlands is my favorite, just because I like Moab so much. So from there, I headed southwest to Area 51. I went to the black mailbox up there, and then I tried taking the van all the way up to Tikaboo Peak at night, and it was gnarly. I used my own discretion to not get stuck because my maps were taking me some crazy directions, but it was an interesting video. If you guys are into alien stuff, you should go check that one out. From Area 51, I went down and camped in some BLM land just outside of Vegas, and then made it down to Las Vegas, hung out with my friend Roger and the QVO team. We rode electric skateboards at night with night vision on.
Intoxicated?
Oh.
Don't lie to your subscribers.
Maybe a little bit. And then from there, I went to, I beelined it all the way down to Santee, California, and that is when the modifications for the van really picked up. I went to Agile Off-Road and I completely decked out the van. I'm not even going to go into detail on that because I've covered it so many times. From San Diego and Santee, California, I went north to LA area. If you're from LA, I'm sorry, but I hate LA. I hate the western side of California. East side of California is great.
Beautiful.
But I did go to Venice Beach to visit a friend of mine, and one thing that's cool about that side of California is I went to see ProTech, and I love ProTech knives. Since I visited them, that's pretty much all that I carry now. This is a ProTech SBR. Everything in the van is all ProTech other than my axe, my camping knife, and my food prep knife, which is from Travax. So from there, I went up to Canyon Adventure Vans and got what you can't actually see in the back of the van here, but we turned this whole thing into a living space. I actually have grass back here now, which I've shown you guys. That thing is a game changer for sure. It allows me to utilize the entire space of the van, and it's something I definitely recommend. And from there, you came back. You flew into LAX, and where's the first place we went?
The trees.
Nope.
Yeah.
Before that, where'd we stay?
Spiky ones.
Nope. Picked you up. We went to Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
And then it was super hot in Joshua Tree.
Yeah, it was.
So that's another national park that we've been to. Where'd we go from there?
We stayed on the side of the road.
At
That place.
Lake Isabella. We went up to
Yes.
Lake Isabella. We're getting into the good part of California now, just south of Sequoia National Forest in the Sierras. So from there, we went to Death Valley.
Woo!
I like Death Valley a lot. We had some experiences there.
I liked it too. I didn't like getting stuck.
So we did get a little bit stuck, but we got unstuck. I did the Satvan 2.0 video there, did a walk around talking about all the modifications that I did. The place that we stayed in Death Valley up on Hunter Mountain, I believe is what it was called.
Probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was
honestly.
a really cool spot to camp. Then the next day is when we went to Stripe Butte and got stuck almost. Almost got stuck. We got out.
We were stuck.
Well, you were my spotter. You were supposed to tell me that there's a big rock there.
I was filming.
Oh my gosh. So after the Death Valley experience, I'm definitely going to go back there again someday, just saying. We went up to the trees.
Oh, so it was Sequoia next?
Yeah, we went up to Sequoia National Park, National Forest, and we went and saw the General Sherman tree. And someone backed into the Sat van in a parking lot.
That did happen.
Not good. It didn't really damage anything. I actually forgot that even happened until I just read the title of this video. But yeah, someone backed into the van. From there, we headed north through the Sierras, Sequoia area, and we went to stay just outside of Yosemite. Yosemite National Park. That's how you say it.
Look it up.
There was a ton of wildfire destruction there because California was burning this entire summer.
Yeah.
And we saw a gas station that was burnt pretty much completely to the ground. It was kind of wild to see all of that. However, Yosemite was really cool. We did a bunch of hikes. We went up to Centennial Dome to see a view of Half Dome. We, of course, went to El Cap and hiked up to the Freerider route. There's a lake outside of Yosemite that we went to.
Oh, not the hidden one?
Just after that, though, we went to a hidden lake. We went to a place which I remember, I know the name of it, but I'm not going to say it because I was told not to say it. We found the secret mountain lake, and it was really cool. Went up there, swam in it. I completely submerged myself, and this one didn't.
Okay, listen. I lost my flip-flop.
It doesn't matter.
I was going down.
You didn't uphold your promise.
Stuck.
So we swam in like 30-degree water, and then we went a little bit west out of that area into Mammoth, and we went to some hot springs. We went to 2 different hot springs, actually. We went to one night.
Like super muddy.
Yeah, it was gross. But then the second one that we found, it was water piped into a little tub that like hippies put there, probably back in the 50s, and that was really cool. From there, we went back west. We went west, and we went to Santa Cruz. Visited One Wheel, and we went to the mystery spot. That was a fun time. Yeah, anyway, so then you left after that.
Again.
And I went to Lake Tahoe, California, and I rode the Corral Trail because I picked up a bike back in Salt Lake City area.
Wait, pause. What about the 26-mile biking thing that you did? What was it called?
Oh yeah, the Arches video. The first time I rode like a legit trail, I took my bike and rode the whole enchilada in Moab, and that was gnarly.
That was dumb.
It was awesome though. It was super awesome. I did about 30 miles that day, and I was super proud of that accomplishment because it was some world-class riding, super cool.
I'm proud of you too, but you almost died.
How did I almost die?
Your camelback had a hole in it or something.
Yeah, camelback leaked 7 miles in, so I had no water for
No water. It was like 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's fine.
Afterwards, you were like, my heart rate is up so high, and I'm shaky, and I'm cold.
And then I went and ate like $100 worth of food at this really nice restaurant in Moab. It was cool. Anyway, back to the Corral Trail, Lake Tahoe, super cool. Highly recommend it. That's another like famous mountain biking trail out there. And then from there, I went up to Reno, Nevada to visit my friend Trent Palmer. He's a bush pilot, and we went and flew planes. We rode one wheels. We rode electric dirt bikes called Surons, and I actually flew his plane, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting to do that. I went up to Grants Pass area. I visited Noveski, and I got a bunch of patches over here. And then I went to Worksharp, who was a sponsor of the van for this past year. Went to Worksharp, got some new products from them. One I'm really stoked on, and once it comes in stock, I'm gonna bring you guys a video on that. They make some really, really good sharpeners. And then after visiting Worksharp, I actually went and rode the White Rabbit Trail on my mountain bike as well. So went and rode that trail. It was super loose and fast, but it was a lot of fun. From there, I went up through Oregon. I went to Crater Lake, and I went to Bend, visited my friend Lucas Burnley. He's a knife maker, and did some cool B-roll stuff in his shop. We had some tacos, and then I went north into Washington State. So the first stop in Washington State, I went to the Mount Rainier area. It was Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. And from there, I met up with my friend Mark King from Travax, or Kimbo. And he brought his Kimbo out. I did a Kimbo video, which a lot of people were stoked on. And those things are really neat. I would definitely own one in the future, but I don't have a truck, so.
Not yet.
Went to visit my buddy Danny, aka Gun DMC, and all we did the entire week was eat food. Danny, if you're watching this, love you. Thanks for having us. I ate so much food. I think we got macaroons from like 3 different bakeries.
Once I flew out there.
I could crush some macaroons right now,
They're very good.
So Ashley flew into Seattle. I also visited my friend Tam Famgram from Instagram too, and I had Wagyu steak for the first time. I love steak, but I never really go to fancy places, and we went to 2 fancy places, had it twice. It's delicious. Ashley came out, we went up to the real Pacific Northwest, and we went to the Olympic National Park.
The most important thing we did was go to the original Starbucks.
Yeah, we went to the original Starbucks.
It's cool.
Ooh, it was not that cool.
It was so cute.
It's not that cool.
Yeah, it is.
We went to Olympic National Park, and we went to the Tree of Life out on the beach there. We drove all the way around the peninsula, and then we ended up at the Staircase Falls, We did a little bit of a hike there. There was like a little bridge that you could walk across, and it was pretty scenic. From the staircase, we went out around the lake. We flew the drone out in that area, and it was super scenic and really beautiful out there. And then we went to Baker Lake near Mount Baker. We went out on the beach and flew the drone, and it was really nice. That whole day, we basically retraced my steps of what I did when I came out to film the Travax 5-part series for their channel about 2 years ago. We went to Samish Overlook. We went to Deception Pass. So then from there, we went to Bellingham, Washington, and we actually visited Mark again at Travax in Kimbo. We got a look at some new products that are going to be coming out this year, and we did a tour of the Kimbo facility to show how they are made. From there, we started heading east, actually. That was the first time I started heading east in a long time, and we went over the North Cascade National Park. Super cool and scenic. It was snowing a bunch, and we came across a dude who flipped his Jeep. And we spent like 2.5 hours trying to pull this thing. First, we flipped it over, and then we tried pulling it out onto the road. Pulled it out onto the road, and
Couldn't get it to start.
couldn't get it to start. I bet you that Jeep is still up there,
Yeah.
because that mountain pass closed
Yep.
the next day, and who knows if that Jeep is even salvageable at this point. From there, we went to Leavenworth, which was super fun. A lot of good, but a lot of bad happened when we were up there too. So we were going into Leavenworth, Washington. It's like a German style or Belgian style town. They have a lot of good food and breweries and beer houses and stuff like that. I backed the van into a parking spot when it was raining, and it completely shattered the rear window. We patched that up for like 3 days. I didn't have a rear window on the van, and we went up into the mountains where it turned into snow. Beautiful scenery up there too. Flew the drone a bunch, and the next morning the drone got stuck like 50 feet up in a tree. Oh, speaking of getting the drone stuck in a tree.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
Perfect.
Tree
That
saw.
way if it ever happens again.
I can just
Amazing.
lop a whole tree down. So the drone got stuck in a tree. We went down into
Which
Leavenworth.
I, again, had nothing to do with.
You had a lot to do with. We went down to Leavenworth, had a grand old time,
I did.
and then we stayed back in the same spot again the next night. From there, you left, you flew out of Spokane, I got the window fixed, and then I kept heading east into Coeur d'Alene area. I visited my friend Kit Badger. I went to Sandpoint and stayed there the one night, cooked some food outside. I did a beard grooming video in the middle of nowhere. Oh, from there, I went through northern Idaho all the way up to Glacier National Park. I tried getting a photo of Lake McDonald, but the weather was not cooperating. Still a really cool area. The northern part of the park was closed though, so I'm gonna go back and visit that again in the future. From there, I came down through Montana, a lot of driving down the border of Montana and Idaho, and I ended up at Wyoming. I went to the Grand Teton National Park. I visited a friend in Jackson Hole. Super beautiful area. That's another place that we have to go to. I want to go and ski there too, but they weren't open at the time.
I like Jackson.
From there, I went south into Salt Lake City again, visited Blade HQ again, got some more knives again. I did 5 things I love and 5 things I hate about the van, and a lot of people took that video like crazy seriously. From there, I went down to Moab once again, and I was going there to mountain bike on the Slick Rock Trail, which I did. Rode Slick Rock with a random person I met in the parking lot. We did about 11 miles. That was on Thanksgiving Day.
So ate pumpkin pie in the parking lot.
We ate pumpkin pie in the parking lot. That was the first holiday that I've ever spent completely by myself, so that was kind of cool. It was a cool place to spend it.
Woo.
From there, the monolith. Ooh. So I went on a journey to find the monolith. That video did really well because at the time it was like hot in the news. My video got picked up by like Lad Bible and CNN and Fox and ABC and all these news outlets and whatever. And the Sat Van made it on national news, which...
It was crazy how many of like my like friends or acquaintances like texted me and were like, your boyfriend's on the news, your boyfriend's on the news. And I'm like, yep.
It was on TV.
Sure is.
Very cool.
It was really cool.
I hate mainstream media, but it was cool to be on it, I guess. So, saw the monolith, and then I came back to Colorado. I went and tried to mountain bike with my buddy Mike again, last line of defense, but the trails were ridiculous and ruined. It was snowy and wet, so we're gonna have to do some more of that stuff in the future. And then him and I also went up to Rocky Mountain Truck Works to check out some trucks. Again, I'm not really in the market for a truck, but eventually I'm gonna have to own a truck.
I'm taking the Crosstrek.
I don't know about that. I still own the Crosstrek, for those who are wondering. So then, from there, this was just before Christmas, I went skiing at Breckenridge with some friends of mine, and I started working on the van. I installed the rear carrier, so we now have fuel, and I have a snow shovel back there. Haven't had to use either of those yet, but
I am here.
We're gonna be traveling in like the next couple of days, so we're gonna get back to travel videos soon. Then after the install of the rear carrier, I went up to Boulder and did the Roam Rig lithium upgrade, which you can see behind Ashley here. Super nice switches on everything, and it's really cool. Haven't really put it to the test yet because I obviously haven't really gone very far, but we're gonna be doing that soon. Power is no issue at all anymore in the van. You can even turn the AC on and run it for like 6 hours plus.
So exciting.
And then I flew home for Christmas last week. I did a big mail time video, opened a bunch of boxes. I got more tattoos. We didn't do anything for Christmas because of COVID, so it was just like my immediate family. And then yesterday, I posted a quick video trying to push the channel to 500,000 subscribers because I wanted to go into the new year with that milestone. We didn't do it. We gained like 100 subscribers instead of 5,500.
We had a grand old time doing it.
We had a great time. I did a morning stream and we had a couple little and then from there we had tacos, came back to where we're at right now, and we live streamed again for I don't even know how long it was, 3 hours again.
Yeah, something like that.
And we drank 1 million White Claws, and we're about to go do that again just after we're done filming this video. So huge thank you to everyone who joined the stream. The 2 top donators were a good friend of the channel, Brian Parker, and another good friend of the channel. You met Brian Parker?
Yeah.
Another good friend of the channel, Lunchbox. Both of those guys donating and super chatting and just hanging out on the stream. That was probably one of the most fun streams that I've done. I don't know if I'll ever do that again though. My liver kind of hurts.
I just like how we sat down and everybody said, this isn't gonna get crazy.
And it got crazy. We went through like 2 cases in an hour.
Yeah.
That brings us to today. It's now New Year's Eve, 2020, December 31st, and tomorrow we're going into 2021. Typically, this is where I would talk about like my goals and what I want to do for the next year, but you guys already know I don't want to keep talking about it. But when the channel hits 500,000 subscribers, I'm going to launch my new business venture that I've been hinting at and talking about here and there. I'm really excited for it. There are so many big things happening this year that I will put out there for you guys. A ton of cool content. I don't even know what else to say about it.
I don't know. I'm excited.
Same. So if you guys want to watch anything that we just talked about, obviously all of those videos are up on the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me through the bullshit that we went through in 2020.
You're welcome.
For real though, thank you guys for watching, liking, commenting, sharing the videos with your friends. We're going to get back to traveling here in the next like 2 days or so. And what other goal could I set? I think it's just to be consistent with uploading videos, 2 to 3 videos a week. Maybe I'll set a new schedule, Tuesday and Thursday. Sunday Gunday's coming back.
Switch it up.
We're launching this new business. I've got so much on my plate, so much going on behind the scenes that I haven't shared yet, but I'm excited to. That's it. If you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe and make new videos every single week. As always, thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you in the next one.
Bye.